This is not what the American public deserves. This is not what they voted for. And I don't think this is even what the Republicans voted for. There's things that are going on that were not part of the political program, like all this nonsense that's going on with Greenland and renaming the Gulf. It's just a diversion of what these criminals are up to.
Absolutely.
And it's time that the public wakes up and actually does something about it.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
Whose street? Our street! Whose street? Our street! Whose street? Our street! Whose street? Our street! Whose street? Our street!
This was done in 2017 for the Women's March, when Trump first got to office. And it's still good today, because we're in more hot water than we ever are. And I'm afraid for our country and the world right now. It's not a joke. And all you people with your double lattes, just talking on Facebook isn't the answer. You feel you're doing something because you're talking about it, but you're not doing something till you do something.
Absolutely. And what do you think about the Democrats' response to all this? They've been warning us for years about Trump and fascism, but their response to this...
They have had their nose up their ass, and I've supported them with money and everything else, and it was pissing down a rat hole.
What brings me out here is terror. I just can't believe we got to where we are today, and we got to do something now. I have grandkids that can't possibly have this coming.
This is the real deal!
Tell me, what do you think about Trump basically outsourcing presidency to Elon Musk? Yeah, we can walk.
It's horrible. It's just, I mean, it's hard to believe that it's real because it's so awful. It's just so hard to believe. And, you know, Musk is just, I mean, Trump is just a puppet. Musk is doing it all.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh, so horrible. And Project 2025, they've had this planned for so long. And if they didn't get it now, it's going to be Project 2029. It's just awful. We have to fight. We have to fight. We can't let our democracy go down the drain. We just can't.
And, you know, Democrats have been warning about Trump as a fascist for years. But their response to his actions have been very minimal up until this point.
He's terrorized everybody. That's how he's got here over these 10 years. Everybody in Congress, he got rid of anybody that was saying no to him. He just picked everyone off, one by one by one. I saw him doing it since 2016. He's a horrible human being. He's a monster. And Musk is even worse. They don't care about lives. They don't care about anybody. All they care about is their own wealth and power. They don't care about the lives that they're losing in U.S. aid. They don't care about our lives. They don't care about our Social Security and Medicare. They want us to be sick. They want us to be weak so that they can have power over us. That's the goal, and we must stop it.
Absolutely. And what is some of your biggest concerns when it comes to Trump's power grab and demolition of government agencies? Is there a particular area you're concerned about?
I'm worried about the EPA, number one.
EPA?
Number one, because if we don't have a planet, we're all gone. That's the most important thing. That's the biggest priority as far as I'm concerned. And he's just eating away at everything. That's going to... They don't care if they ruin the world. Musk is going to go to Mars. So he doesn't care what happens to the planet.
But let me ask you this. The question has been posed, and I want your answer. Could it happen here? Well, it is happening here. The woman over here said it is happening here, and she's right. And it's already pretty far along. And what is the it? Fascism. And Sam just told you what that means. What that means. This country has committed unbelievable crimes over a long time, most recently and continuing in Gaza. And now they want to take over Greenland, Panama. This does not mean that there isn't a qualitative change in the form of rule that we live under. And Sam is exactly right. If we don't stop this now, the ability to hold rallies like this may be no more. She asked the question, could we actually drive out Trump? Well, that would be an unprecedented thing to do, but this is a time to unprecedented on President's Day and to set some new precedents of driving out a regime.
Yeah, my concerns are that there's an unelected person who is currently apparently in charge of the US government telling the president what to do, and the president just listens to that. And this is not what the American public deserves. This is not what they voted for. And I don't think this is even what the Republicans voted for. There's things that are going on that were not part of the political program, like all this nonsense that's going on with Greenland and renaming the Gulf. It's just a diversion of what these criminals are up to.
Absolutely.
And it's time that the public wakes up and actually does something about it. And the only mechanism that we have is protesting. And I think it's good that people are coming out for that. Finances have always run this country, but it is now, it has reached a level that is really concerning because it is irreversible.
Right.
And that's why it is now so urgent that we actually do something while it is still fresh. If this continues for another 4 years, there won't be another election. And
I agree.
It's a handful of people who own the majority of the wealth in this country, and they ruthlessly use their means to achieve their goals. And this does not represent the goal of these people or the goals of people in whatever. Wisconsin, they voted for somebody and had no idea what's going to happen.
Right. And, you know, we've been warned about fascism, about Trump for years, but Democrats, their response to all this has been pretty tame and not as
Yes, well, they responded incorrectly. Their response, in my opinion, was the wrong subjects, the wrong topics. They allowed the Republicans to be pushed into a corner where the discussion was about the rights of trans and gay people, which I totally respect, but that's the wrong topic. It's the wrong topic. We need to talk about the needs of the regular people, which is number one, healthcare and education. And the Democrats have failed to actually bring that message home. They made the mistake of allowing the Republicans to dictate the topics. And of course, it's so easy for them to get everybody upset about whatever, that whole nonsense on trans people. This is a so small fraction of the population. Meanwhile, nobody, absolutely nobody that I know is happy with their health insurance. People go bankrupt in this country. And did the Democrats talk about that? Hell no.
So y'all, it's up to us. We gotta be mobilized to stand up, to resist in the streets and throughout society. We gotta have the federal workers who've been purged rising up. We've gotta have the teachers who are being muzzled from teaching the truth about the white supremacist roots and current reality of the United States. We gotta have them rising up. We've gotta have the healthcare workers who are being told that they gotta let women die instead of providing them with abortion care. They've gotta be rising up. We've gotta have the healthcare workers who are being told to deny gender-affirming, life-saving care to our youth to be rising up.
And I can tell you, the first thing that happens is they get rid of the judiciary. The second thing that happens is they erode trust in the media. And the third thing that's going to happen now is they're going to teach your children oh too well about how fabulous America is without looking at the true story so that we learn from mistakes. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you will never truly be great. Fight the fear, fight the lies, and make sure that we keep our country open and available for everyone, not just a few. My biggest concern is his dismantling of institutions and trampling on all of our rights. I mean, if he wants to do something within the law that I disagree with, well, I'll disagree. But if he wants to start dismantling our government and dismantling democracy, then I'm out on the streets. And that's what I really seriously am concerned about. 4 years ago, we laughed him off. But I think he had 4 years to prepare, and I think he is incredibly prepared now. And I think he is in with all of these institutions like Heritage and Project 2025. And I'm absolutely convinced that we should take him at his word and that he will start to be an autocratic king. And that we should take him at his word. We should believe him for what he says. And we should fight like hell to make sure that his wishes don't come true.
If you believe in the promise of America, or if, like me, you believe the promise of America was seen in slavery and genocide of the native people and it continues around the world, then I tell you what, we need to be sharing the same stage right now. We need to be discussing why are we facing fascism? Fascism wasn't installed in America now by a coup. They tried that 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 4 years ago. It was installed through a legitimate election. And now the Democrats are telling you to respect that. Fascism, whether elected, fair, or fraudulent, is never legitimate.
I teach kindergarten, and since I was in kindergarten myself, the basis of social and emotional learning has been fairness and kindness. And I cannot believe what I see in front of me with this administration and its deliberate cruelty. Its policies just are deliberately cruel to every vulnerable part of the population they could possibly single out. And it makes it hard to know what to say to children when they ask you what is going on or what do you think of Trump, because as a teacher you're supposed to stay neutral. It's very difficult. I'm not going to stop teaching anti-racism the way that I've taught it for as long as I've been a teacher, and most of the teachers that I know feel the same way. But to have schools under attack and the Department of Education under attack, I'm a special ed teacher. Funds for special education do come from the Department of Education. And I don't know what to expect, but I will be out here fighting.
It is not true that the protests of 2020 accomplished nothing. That is not true, even as they've continued to murder black and brown people at rates surpassing what happened before then. Even though the president and vice president took a knee and put some kente cloth on in the Capitol, and a year and a half later said, fund the police, fund the police, fund the police. So we have to talk about why that happened.
Elon Musk is a Nazi. I mean, he told everybody very clearly that he's a Nazi. And so there's a strong racial and ethnic component to that. And this hatred of people based on who they are genetically has to stop. We're all in this together, no matter what race, where we come from, sex. So, so hopefully we need to keep getting out into the streets, because the normal avenues of recourse are closing. You know, he's not obeying judges, so we can't necessarily rely on the system to bring recourse. So we have to think of creative ways. We have to work together to bring change and sort of reimagine our society. You know? And I agree to an extent with Hakeem Jeffries that there's not a lot that they can do politically, especially if the president is just blatantly disregarding the law. You know, what can they do, you know? So I feel like it's incumbent upon us, the people, to do what they can do. So I'm not being super hard on the Democrats. You know, I'm disappointed with their response to the Gaza conflict, you know, because of their taking contributions from being beholden to AIPAC. You know, that really made me lose a lot of respect for them. But, you know, I still think that at the end of the day, it's incumbent upon us, the people, to sustain a democracy. We can't, it's a democracy, it's about the people, it's not just about the politicians. We can't continue to just point fingers at them. What are we doing?